You've seen that giant chicken coop that we pulled through the field. It's got about 300 chickens in it. Not everybody can afford that, not from like the cost, but from the size perspective. And not everybody needs a couple hundred chickens. We've built this smaller coop, and that's what I want to show to you today. This is the mother clucker. This is our breeding coop. So we have hens and roosters together. I've said plenty of times that the future of farming is mobile. This coop is how we're gonna multiply our efforts. The chickens that come out of here are fertile, so when we incubate them in the incubator, we get more chickens out the deal. This was just a trailer that was slowly rotting. It had wood boards on top. So we pulled those off, put the expanded mesh down on the bottom, and then made this arch with cattle panels. This is very similar to like our hoop coop designs that we've done pasture poultry in videos on the YouTube channel. But now it's mounted to a trailer, so we can move it with a tractor, we can move it with an ATV, smaller equipment, but still a lot of birds, and get that efficiency of the fertilization in a pasture poultry chicken operation. One of the coolest things I want to show you is this automatic door. You can set it by timer or by light sensitivity, and it'll open when it'll open in the morning, it'll close in the evening, and the chickens should be able to come through that. I am a little bit worried because some of these chickens are so huge in here, we may have to replace this door, but that's neither here nor there. Right now, we've got our chickens just locked up in here. They have water, they have food, but we're acclimating them to the new space since we moved them from the big coop. Inside, we have roosting poles. You can see the one chicken on the top up there just hanging out. That's where they sleep. It mimics a tree. Gets them up off the ground, makes them feel protected that no predators are gonna get them. But this is all like fenced in, and then we have a tarp around these things to keep them shielded from exposure to the weather. One thing that we've done as well is layer the sides of these with fence too, because everything loves a chicken, and we don't want a raccoon or a possum or a fox or anything getting in there taking out our chickens that we love so much. This coop is really easy to maintain because when we open the door, we have a feed barrel to the right and a waterer to the left. We don't even have to go in there. We can just dump the feed from the door and then allow the chickens the rest of the space. One thing I'm really proud and excited about is the nesting boxes on the front of the coop. That's how we can get eggs out of the system and never have to step foot inside this mobile coop. So this is the nesting box system. It has a latch over here, but when we open the door, this is where the chickens will lay their eggs. They have this hay, straw bedding that keeps the eggs from rolling around too much, but this is a protected place that the chickens can call home to lay the eggs, and it keeps us from ever having to go inside the coop. So this coop combines cow power with chicken power, and it allows us to go into the rotational system and get multiple feedings out of the same pasture at the same time, eating the flies that are attractive to the cow poop and also spreading out that cow poop so we don't have to bring fossil fuel powered tractors in to drag out those pastures. Yeah, don't let them out, please. So these are the roosting poles that we made. They are meant to mimic a tree. Chickens don't want to be on the ground because that's where predators are gonna get them. So these roosting poles get them off the ground, and notice that they're separate so that they're not pooping down on each other. A lot of times we see people use small wooden poles, and these are flat, and notice how it lets the chicken rest its whole foot there. That keeps, particularly in cold weather, keeps the chicken from freezing its little digits off because it's in contact with the pole. 2x4s are really great. Use the flat side, this like 3.5 inch, 4 inch side to make a roosting pole. You can use 2-inch dowels, but ultimately those dowels are pretty expensive, or conduit. These 2x4s make a great roosting pole, and they're cheap and effective. So this is the feeder that we've put in here, and it's a bulk feeder that allows us to put about 50 pounds of feed in there. Notice I cut these holes and put an adapter kit in there that allows the chickens to stick their head in and then access the feed in there. But it keeps us from just spilling feed out into the floor. It's a really efficient system. When we look into this container, you can see there's the lay-in pallets, which we get at the feed store, but below that there's a shelf so that the feed is just not spilling out. You can see that shelf right here. So this door lets them out, but they need a ramp to get down and back up into the coop. So I made this one, and it's on hinges, so when we're moving the coop, it's not dragging the ground. It simply just clips on to this chain and trails behind. We had the question of cost. Now, if you see the big one that has, you know, about 300 chickens in it, that thing was like right at 30 grand. Now that had some solar panels and some other stuff in, but the cost of this one is significantly less. The trailer I had, it was falling apart. I've seen similar trailers on Facebook Marketplace for about 500 bucks. All in with the lumber, the cattle panels, the tarp, the feeder, I'm, you know, maybe 1,100 bucks, not including our time to build it. But this thing is cheap because you get a whole lot of value out of it. There's probably 20 chickens in here. There's some roosters too, but 20 chickens, about 1,000 bucks. That's not a bad deal to get started. If you're part of the Homestead Mastermind community, check your email because you've already got plans on how to build a coop just like this for your own backyard. And if you're not a member of that community, sign up in the link below to make sure that you don't miss out on cool things like this, as well as meeting like-minded individuals that are about building abundance for themselves, their family, and their community.